Hey, Team Greely. It is Angela Glass in the Rugged Professional Studio for another episode of Coffee and Conversation with our favorite brew buddy, Lieutenant Colonel Alissa Clark, our Garrison Commander. Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
How is that coffee treating you today?
It's delicious considering I didn't have lunch, so it's like my substitute meal.
Oh, let's get some protein in there, ma'am.
There's marine collagen.
Oh, hey, okay. Well, we have our coffee. We have our audience. We're going to go ahead and get started. So, ma'am, the DEOC survey is something that you are incredibly passionate about, and the communication plan that has came from that. Can you tell Team Greely a little bit about what your goals are in our DEOC plan?
Sure. So we have several different things that we're trying to get after with the DEOCs based on the feedback that the workforce provided us. One of them, obviously, is like transparency. Mm-hmm. And so some of the ways that we're trying to get after the transparency are, one, holding more things like this for live audiences to be able to ask questions and us provide non-scripted answers, if you will.
Yeah.
But also just the regular workforce State of the Garrisons that we do, formerly again known as the Workforce Town Hall. Just to be open and honest about, one, our environment, but two, kind of like how the garrison is moving within that environment. And then we've got a couple of other tools. But so transparency is one of the things that we're trying to get after. Communication as a whole, we all know that communication is foundational to any good working relationship. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at different ways in which we can communicate collectively, not only like from the command team level, but from supervisors getting it all down to the totality of the workforce. And we'll be, again, trying to figure out different ways in which we communicate. And then we're also getting after some of those things that, sometimes we need a little bit of additional training on.
Yeah.
When we talk about ensuring we have a productive workplace, we're talking about free of harassment, free of discrimination, ensuring that is mutual respect amongst everybody within the organization. And so EEO is doing a variety of the same type of training. It's an additional training outside of the normal EEO scope. But again, it's just to continue to ensure that everybody is actively cognizant of their workplace and their teammates, and ensuring that we continue to have a culture of mutual respect among everybody. Additionally, I guess with the DEOCs, I think the big goal is, truth be told, us trying to figure out a way to help bring that morale up within our workforce. We've had a challenging year. We've talked about it all, we've talked about it ad nauseum. But instead of talking about it, the DEOCs, I think some of the action that we are going to start implementing, we're going to start being about it and figuring out how to, one, prioritize, communicate, be transparent, and just to be honest with ourselves and our workforce that continues to do amazing things. But even good organizations can continue to be great. And that's what the DEOC is, right? It's to help us identify some of the gaps that we have and try to just move us forward.
Oh, I love that. You're making a difference, ma'am.
Sorry, super long explanation. Probably went here and there.
No, absolutely. I love it. You're making a difference. And speaking of difference, we had the Chief of Staff of the Army, General Randy George, visit recently.
We did.
Along with the Sergeant Major of the Army. Tell us how you feel that visit went.
So visits like the CSA, Chief of Staff of the Army, and the SMA, the Sergeant Major of the Army, are so important for installations, especially installations like Fort Greely. It's really important for senior leaders to understand our footprint, our mission, but truly all of the great things that are happening here, like from the garrison level and everything that our team executes every single day. Like with a smile, like how they get after all of the things to support our warfighters, our soldiers, and our families, but then also understanding our soldiers and our families, like understanding the mission of the 49th Missile Defense. And of course, senior leaders do understand those types of things, but to be able to see that live
Absolutely.
is so important to understand that, hey, from the quality of life perspective, when we're talking about medical concerns or issues, like they actually drove down. And so they got that perspective of this is the travel route that soldiers and families have to take if they have to go up to Fort Wainwright for medical appointments and things. And so it's important for senior leaders to do that. And so overall, I think it was a good visit considering we were able to showcase all of the things. We were able to showcase, we as in the 49th and our additional tenant partners like Missile Defense Agency, we were able to show them the operational mission, but then we were also able to kind of like peel back the onion and address some of those garrison-specific type services that we can or don't provide, as well as getting after the quality of life, not only concerns, but again, to highlight some of the really great things that we have going on in this installation. Because I would argue like our commissary is pretty awesome. Like
Absolutely.
Sure, we may be at the last end of the delivery schedule, but I mean, the DECA team does a great job.
Yep.
Our troop store is, I think, great. There be additional things? Absolutely. But I mean, like, there's a lot of great things that are here. And so I think one of the biggest things that the CSA and SMA took away was the fact that we do have great things here.
Yeah.
But there's always room to improve, especially to support those soldiers that execute that most strategic, and I would argue one of the most important missions that we have, specifically defending the homeland.
Absolutely. And we were also able to showcase Mrs. George.
Yes.
A lot of amazing things. We got to show her our schools, just like the local Delta Junction area. We got to have lunch there, and, spouses and other guests were able to, talk to her a bit about what life is like at Fort Greely, and that was really good. So she gets to walk away with some great information about here as well. So.
Yeah, it was super important for Patty to be here, to have those honest conversations. I know that we didn't have as much time as we wanted to.
Yeah.
And so hopefully she will come back out and be able to engage our spouses again. That would be fantastic. But you actually had the opportunity of, having you were actually escorting them around the different facilities. And so I'm going to throw it back on you. What do you think was the biggest takeaway that Mrs. Patricia Patty George had in the conversations or any of the visits that she had while she was here with us?
I think that Miss Patty really enjoyed her time with the spouses. I think that she learned a lot of things that she didn't know, that if she wouldn't have drove here, she wouldn't have been able to see. You don't see it from just flying. We were able to show her our activity center, our youth center. Those things, I think, were the highlight of her visit. Being able to see what is offered here to community members, to family members, to see what the quality of life is like for them, I think was very beneficial for her. We were able to give her suggestions on what we wanted, and she was also able to help us with some resources that we didn't know were available necessarily. There's the introduction of My Army Post app, the digital things that are going to be able to offer a lot of more communication to our families. So she gave us some work to do, and that's okay. That's totally fine. I really enjoyed our visit with her.
No, yeah, that's fantastic. No, again, it was a big push visit. I know our protocol, who's sitting in our audience, there was a lot,
She
right?
needed a cup of coffee.
She needed a cup of coffee and all the other things because it really was like 3 different visits in one.
Yeah.
So kudos to the entirety of the team for really pulling off a great event. And, I may not be able to speak for General George because I didn't directly solicit any feedback. I'd be like, hey, sir, how was the visit? But I will tell you, Brigadier General Brooks did provide direct feedback, and he thought what the team was able to do on that visit was absolutely spot on. and the way that the team showcased and highlighted it and brought up concerns. He said we did a fantastic job.
Good.
And I think that he thinks that, the team walked away with a greater understanding of the strategic mission, but also what it takes to support that mission.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Okay, we're going to get on to some fun stuff. So we all know what's coming, and that is spring break. And along with spring break comes spring fling. So I know you are probably super excited about it. I want you to tell us what you're most excited for. Give us the lineup. Give us the deets.
So I'm probably going to get the details not 100% accurate.
That's okay.
So Spring Fling starts actually at the end of this week. So I believe Thursday, Sir Major, correct me if I'm wrong, Thursday is where people can start getting their materials for the boat regatta, the cardboard boat regatta.
It's the canoe regatta, man.
No, we didn't change it.
We didn't change it. Oh, okay.
No.
It's the boat regatta.
Yeah. We didn't change it. Nobody can see it, but Sir Major's like rowing over here. He's like, I'm getting back to my roots. I'm sorry.
We're gonna pull Sergeant Major up here in a minute.
But then also the latrines on ice. Like, do you know what the latrines on ice? I'm specifically pointing at Captain Korn, who has been gracious enough to come into the studio and be a part of the audience. But so now is the time. This week is the time to start gathering the materials to build your latrine, decorate your latrine, or decorate your boat, build your boat. For the main events next week. And so some of the events, and I'll just highlight some of them. If you want more information, I would say go to the Fort Greely MWR page. That's where you can find the entirety of the lineup of what's going on for Spring Fling, as well as looking on the regular, like the digital signs and various flyers that are out there. But anyway, so we've got the boat regatta. I think that's taking place Tuesday or something like that. Tuesday. And if you don't know what the boat regatta is, like essentially the kids with their parents and everybody else, like they build boats out of cardboard that they're going to race in the pool.
And it's epic.
I have not seen it, but
I can't wait for you to see this.
Well, I'm like thinking about the physics of it all. And yes,
exactly why it's epic, man.
Yes, I cannot wait to see it just because I'm like, cardboard.
Yep.
But yeah, so there's that. And then we've got various like craft events. I think with the youth center, they're doing rocks and other family crafts.
The bounce house day.
That's later.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, you are. I'm thinking in my head, and I'm like memorizing. Anyway, so because I just had an IPR, so
got it.
I'm not trying to like say that you're wrong. I just may have more up to date information because it literally was just talked about. And then Wednesday we have like a s'mores, sledding and stuff. S'mores on the hill. I'm kind of sad it's during the day because I don't get spring break, and I'm like, oh, $20, and I get sleds is unlimited sledding and pulling up and hot chocolate and s'more kits. And I'm like, that's a great deal, $20 to. I think
there's some photo opportunities that need to be had at the sledding hill. So
yeah, but Wednesday is going to be a very busy day for us, so we might not be able to enjoy in some of the festivities. But then, so we have that, and then we have like a movie night. I think the kids' movie is going to be Zootopia.
Woo woo!
And then the adult movie will be House of Dynamite.
No, it won't. Are you serious?
Truth be told, I probably was rooting for Interceptor because that, I would argue, is far more entertaining.
Man.
But if you haven't watched it, I'm not plugging for it, but you should take a look at it.
What a great date night movie.
And then the bounce house day for the families. This is a fundraising opportunity, I believe, for Boss to do the bounce house. Well, they'll be volunteering. And so the various bounce houses, I think they've done it before, set up in the CAC. And then the main event, the absolute main event, is going to be on Saturday. So you better get a team. Like, Saturday. Are you going to get a team? Okay. Again, I'm pointing at Captain Korn.
Just got to get that on record.
Getting it on record that she said they're going to have a team. So Medic's going to have a team. Yes. But so latrines on ice. I know that people are like, oh, what's latrines on ice? Legitimately, it is a latrine
On ice.
on ice. No. You're like, you race it on ice. But it's like, there's like a throne. I plan to be the one sergeant major sitting on that throne. But people, it's a 5-person team, and they're like pushing it, to from a start to an end, and it's just a race. It's a great race that happens,
Absolutely.
takes place. It's about building camaraderie, competition, the love of competition, right? I think a lot of us who are in the military really do appreciate
Oh, yeah.
a competition. So we have that going on, and there'll be prizes given out for the winner, as well as there's a ice fishing competition, and I think that I'm not sure if they had it last year, but there'll be ice fishing, and whoever catches the biggest fish will also get a prize.
There's some more competition.
So ton of events for next week, and they all have various raffles and drawings. Again, our sponsorship team up in Wainwright has done a fantastic job at securing things for us to not only get people motivated about coming out to these events, but I think it's a way for the community to give back to, like, the general community, to give back to the military community. And so it's really great. It's really great opportunities. Spring Fling is fantastic. Again, I wish I could participate in all of the events, but
as many as we can.
I have to work.
You can get the special at the community activity center. They have like a 7-inch pizza and fries and a drink for $10 all week.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop there and get that multiple times.
Yeah, so they do have, that is like the main food special, but I do believe they also have additional food specials.
Oh, sweet.
Like, I think there's a mini corn dog special. They'll be giving out free popcorn for the movie events.
Okay.
And so there's a couple of specials. I know the team was like working really hard to figure out what we could do for the community.
Sweet. Well, speaking of fun, you and Sergeant Major just recently were able to attend the Senior Leader Forum in IDP, Pacific, Hawaii. Tell us about that. What ideas, what insight did you bring back to us from that?
Not a tan.
Yeah, you're tan.
Well, that's like my natural state of being.
Okay, okay, all right. I'll give you that.
Okay, just kidding. It's not my natural state of being. This is from Lake Mexico. Anywho, so the MCOM Pacific Senior Leader Forum. Yes, we just came back from Hawaii. That's where IDP is located. It was all at the Halikoa, which was great. But it was an opportunity that IDP does to bring in the garrison teams to inform, like, hey, this is what we have. Like, these are the different garrisons in the Pacific, but also an opportunity to share ideas, to build networks. And it was a really great event. Truth be told, I didn't understand really how varied the MCOM Pacific portfolio was. And so, I'm always talking about, oh, we're so awesome and different and unique.
Yes.
Every single installation that MCOM has in their portfolio is unique and so different. So it was truly eye-opening to really understand that because, it ranges from us, Alaska, Hawaii, but also, Kwajalein, but now PTA out in Hawaii, which is on the Big Island, which for some reason I thought wasn't on the Big Island. I thought it was on Oahu, but it's not. But PTA. But then we also have 2 new garrisons that have joined the MCOM portfolio or the IDP portfolio, and that's Fort Carson and JBLM.
Really?
Yeah. And so we had an opportunity to sit down with the JBLM commander one evening, fellowshipping. And it essentially was 2 extremes, right? You had JBLM that had like a footprint, a workforce of like 6,000 people.
Wow.
To us, which is like organic to the APF, DA civilians or Army civilians, which I think we are slated for 140 But then we also have, NAF personnel, MWR primarily. So we're sitting just a little bit under 200
Yes.
to their 6,000. And I'm like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Like ours is like a micro city compared to what they're doing.
Did you see any similarities like between you guys? Things that you deal with?
No.
No. Okay.
I would say
Hey,
no.
honesty. Yeah.
So the one thing that I would say that I would take over kind of like what they have going on is just like the intimacy that we have here at our smaller installation, to be able to walk to DPW and have those conversations, with people who are doing the maintenance of the roads. Like they don't have that opportunity.
Exactly.
And so I wouldn't give this up for a bigger installation. Well, at least right now, I definitely wouldn't do that. There's just a different level of connectedness that I think that we have here, which is truly special. But so any nuggets, we shared good ideas and all the things. But I think the biggest thing that I took away from the forum is that IDP is just so different, I think, compared to, MCOM readiness or MCOM training. And it's a really great portfolio to be a part of. And I would encourage everybody to look up MCOM and everything that it's all about, but specifically MCOM Pacific and what they've got going on.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of visiting, we have some big visitors coming our way. We have our Senior Mission Commander, Lieutenant General Sean Gainey, and also our MCOM Pacific Director, Ms. Brenda Lee McCullough, visiting Fort Greely this week. Can you tell Team Greely a little bit about what these visits mean to our installation and what they plan on doing while they're here?
Again, it's always great for senior leaders to come and visit, but specifically these senior leaders because they have a direct interest in us.
Exactly.
So talking about MCOM Pacific, Ms. McCullough, she is the MCOM Pacific Director. So she is like the head of everything that goes on. She loves Alaska. She loves Fort Greely. I know we're not going to have as much time as she wants or we want with her. But essentially, they're both coming here to do what we call an installation planning board. And it's just getting our senior commanders as well as our MCOM leadership to acknowledge our priorities moving for this year, so FY26. Obviously, we're kind of like going towards the end of the second quarter of FY26. So, we're a little bit later in the game than we normally would be. But this is an opportunity to talk about our priorities for the garrison and then get them to acknowledge and let us to continue to drive on with it.
Okay.
So that's the main reason why they're both coming. But with General Gainey, this will be his last visit as our senior commander, as he will be changing out the beginning of quarter 3. And so kind of sad, right?
Absolutely.
I don't think that we had enough time with him, but I think that the time that we did have with him was very fruitful as far as what he's been able to provide to our team. And so they're going to come and do the property board plan, like the IPB, and then visit various people in the installation. But again, like senior leaders are important, but these two specific senior leaders are very important to our garrison.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I always get excited when they come. They're great people.
Yeah.
So we've reached the end of our portion, but now I'm going to open it up to the audience for if they have any questions. Hopefully they do. Does anybody have a question?
I feel like Justin has a question because he literally just put his coffee cup down.
Oh, he just put his coffee down. He's like, I'm ready.
His coffee cup down.
He came prepared. Justin, do you have a question? Or what is your question?
Good afternoon. I do have a question or topic to bring up. For many years, the extension of the Alaska Railroad down to Delta Junction, Fort Greely, and even into Canada has been, on the radar occasionally. So I think that could benefit the community as well as Fort Greely and the whole state of Alaska. So have you heard of any plans, for the near future, for the Alaska Railroad to be extended from the Salcha area down into Donnelly Training Area or Fort Greely?
I personally have not heard of anything
Okay.
like that, but I think that's interesting and would be exciting.
Absolutely.
But I have not heard anything. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
okay. Anybody else? Brian? What you got?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
With the recent snowfall, is there any way that we can support our DPW team in clearing parking lots and stuff with all the snow? Is that a possibility to?
Are you raising your hand to like get in a grader or something?
Maybe not a grader, but
I think he's raising his
something to help clear some of the parking lots. I don't know if that's a possibility.
I think that there are always opportunities that we can ask the question. I know last week there was something that was slightly non-standard that USAG Alaska did as a call to action based on all the snow that they had. So right now I have not heard anything about additional support that was necessary from the DPW. Our DPW, especially our roads and grounds team, are quite dedicated and super passionate about what they do. And so we haven't heard anything specifically, but we can ask the question for sure to see if there's anything. And then Mr. Enlow is raising his hand because he can add some additional comment.
So what I would say is always be a good customer. Take care of your space if you would. So what we expect of the customers, a primary civilian operated facility has to clear within 50 feet of the doorways or access points to any facility that they're responsible for. 15. Let me articulate that correctly. And then primarily soldier-run facilities have 50 feet or to the parking lot, whichever is the lesser amount that they would be responsible for shoveling and or snow blowing. Some of the other things that we're talking about with DPW is automation of walkways and things like that. Something like robotics as a service. We're trying to look at seeing what we can do to make our access more beneficial for our customers and less work or repetitive, tedious functions on our equipment and workers. So what can you do right now? Be a good customer. Take care of your space. And the last part of being a good customer is don't leave abandoned vehicles on the installation. If you're in a parking lot and they're doing snow removal, park somewhere else. The running joke is we don't have a parking problem, we have a walking problem. So park further away from the parking lots that are being serviced and get to your facility. That's really what we can do right now, but lots of good ideas in the works.
Oh, look at that. I was being more specific, and Mr. Unlow comes in with this is what everybody can do. That's why I have great battles like that. Hey, Mr. Unlow, before you walk away, are you telling me that there are Roombas for snow? Because I know that they have grass-cutting Roombas.
Are you serious?
There are
Yeah.
robotics for snow removal as well as grass cutting and things like that I've directed Mr. Hayden to look into. Not as a replacement for a worker or anything like that, but as
extra
a tool
help.
Right.
for those workers to utilize.
I don't know, those like Roombas, man, I tell you. Like just like run into
There
things.
would obviously be safety protocols and a lot of things. There was a Army competition that was run recently, and I don't want to drop the company name that participated, but they had contractability with robotics as a service to where they could have snow removal and grass cutting robots for the different seasons to get after non-roadway type functions, so walkways and things like that.
That's really incredible technology these days, right?
Yeah.
Apparently I'm like living in a stone age.
So
'cause
am I.
I'm so resistant to all of those things, but okay.
You said grass cutting, and I'm like, wow.
I've seen it. It's like, it's really cool. Anyway, sorry. I could like talk all day about random things.
That's
but
okay. That's
more
okay.
questions.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Ooh. Captain Corn stepping up to the mic.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Thank you for the invite. Do you anticipate Fort Greely's operational mission shifting in any way related to the current conflict?
So as it stands right now, no. Obviously that can change. But what our soldiers do currently is, protecting the homeland, and that's against all rogue nations. And so we have to ensure that they are executing their mission. But those are our main soldiers, right? Unless we get some sort of influx of, I don't foresee that mission set changing. But this is the Army, and we always must be flexible. There could be opportunities down the line for Golden Dome, and what that looks like, we still don't know. But that still is more in line with our Homeland Missile Defense mission. Why are you ready to get in and do things?
It's a great question.
Yeah, no, it was an absolutely great
Great
question. Right now, no, but be prepared to is a part of our DNA.
Any other questions? No? Well,
No?
ma'am, you light up a room, and we are we adore you. We are so happy that you're here. We love the energy that you bring. Do you have any closing remarks for your audience and for our community?
I just would say, hey, winter's almost over. We may not feel
Amen.
like it is almost over, but I will tell you, we are on the cusp to greatness, as it means to Alaska and all the wonderful things that take place in the summertime, spring and summertime. And so we are almost there. I would say don't let up. Focus on those good things. Again, I think this community does a really good job at, putting their head down and getting the work done, no matter what.
Yes.
Please continue to take care of each other, focus on that good stuff, because it's just around the corner. And we just want to say, for myself, Mr. Enlow, and Command Sergeant Major Hawley, that we appreciate everything our workforce does, but also the rest of our community, from our tenant units with 49th Missile Defense and the soldiers executing the mission, to MDA supporting that mission, to MEDAC, who keeps us healthy to execute the mission, as well as all of our other partners that are on here. I feel now like I have to shout them all out. So ARTC, DECA, AFES, and LRC,
59.
they're more like
Check
a part
you
of
out.
our team. But I say all of that to say we appreciate what everybody does on this installation, and we could not do this together without one another. And so thank you so much. And I look forward to the next coffee and conversation. But don't forget, we've got all these great events next week for Spring Fling.
Yep.
So if you really want to make Sergeant Major cry, you need to be a part of the Latrines on Ice. He still has some hurt feelings from last year because they did not win. And so we are definitely looking at taking back the trophy. And so if you've got running legs, if you got creativity, if you just want to be out there and have a good time, please come out to the Latrines on Ice on the 14th of March at Quartz Lake. Again, thanks.
Thank you to our audience, and thank you to our team for tuning in today. Be sure to like this video, be sure to subscribe for more content, and be sure to share this video with all of your friends. To everyone else, stay rugged.